Hey everybody, welcome to Storytime with John and Friends. I'm your host, John. Today we have another great episode for you. I was joined by my new friends in the band, Relay. Both Jamie and Hannah shared some stories from the road, touring across the country as well as overseas, and what it's like to do that. We had a really great conversation, and I hope you enjoy what they shared. I want to take a second and just thank everybody for the well wishes. I did have to take a few months off from the podcast. I had a spinal surgery, and I just had to wait till I, recovered enough to be able to put everything back into this. So I do appreciate you guys. And if you like what you see, like what you hear, be sure to like and subscribe, share with a friend. Please do so. Everything Relay's got going on and all their social media will be down below in the description. So make sure you give them a follow. Without further ado, enjoy the episode.
We were pissing neon green every day.
That big ball of heat in the sky was too much. I thought there was a bear.
Reality goes, yeah, fresco.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, everybody.
What's up, everybody?
Welcome to
Welcome to
Storytime.
Storytime.
Hannah and Jamie, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm John. Nice
Yes.
to formally meet you.
Good.
How you guys doing today?
Great, yeah.
Good, that's good. You guys working? What do you got going on today?
We do music full time, so we're always, if we're not gigging, we're working at home, working on music or working on booking or all the little ins and outs. But today we'll be heading to Charlotte because we have a show tonight in Charlotte, and then we play for the Charlotte Marathon tomorrow. So we live in Raleigh, so it's just
Okay.
a little,
Love Raleigh.
yeah.
Love Raleigh. Very cool. So how long you guys been doing this?
Good bit now. Yeah, 10 years.
Yeah, we've been professional musicians 10 years, but we met playing music
In college. Yeah.
before that. So
Yeah.
So you've been doing this full time for 10 years?
no,
We were teaching lessons. Like in 2019, we started going full time and not doing lessons.
music
anymore.
lessons. So it still was music,
Yeah.
but we just play now.
Okay.
It was an interesting time 2019 was great. And then we lived in Wilmington for a while. Then we moved to Raleigh in 2020 and we were like, oh, big city. We're going to be traveling.
March 18, 2020. Do the math on that one.
Okay.
So we were hopeful, thinking let's move into this big market and play all the shows and let's quit our jobs and move to a new place. And so then we were unemployed for a year, but we made it through.
Yeah.
That's great. That's awesome. You guys made that decision to go full time with it though. That's I envy you very much.
Yeah. It's
So,
a lot of work. It's fun.
Yeah.
Oh,
Exactly.
I believe it. I used to tour as well. That's how I know Nick Berger. You know
Nice.
Nick as well.
Yes.
Nick told me that you guys were interested, and I was more than happy to have you guys on. He
Totally.
explained a little bit about how you guys work as far as touring and doing your runs and everything like that. But why don't you explain that a little bit?
Totally. Indeed.
So we love to travel, we love to run, we love to play music. So when you're doing it yourself and you're trying to book your tours and make a life that you enjoy living, like we decided to reach out to, first it started as run clubs, and we would go to run club events during the week in between like weekend shows and because run clubs meet Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and we'd go and play a lot of times at a brewery that has a run club, and that's where it started. We were already in a big running community in Wilmington, and so we started going to Charlotte a lot, to the Triangle, which is Raleigh, and then when we would go on these longer tours, we would contact run clubs that we would research and find. That's where it started. And then we've gotten connected with a lot of races, some really cool trail running races, like Trail Fest in Utah is amazing, and different finish lines that we play for. And
It's a funny little niche that we found. And
and we enjoy it because a lot of times we'll run the race and then play. Maybe we'll play the expo the day before, or we play the finish line. And we got connected with Brooks Running, which is how we know Nick.
Very cool.
And, so we're ambassadors for Brooks, but that also came with a huge community of runners, of run leaders, people who organize in that space too. So it's been really fun to combine that and just go run amazing trails and through cities and all the fun stuff.
And that's what it was initially. It was like we wanted to do it full time, and then we said, okay, like you said, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is the hardest times to get gigs, like in regular venues.
In a new city, you know?
Yeah, it's not going out day of the weekend. So then when you're on tour, it's like, how do you fill up those dates? So then we did those run clubs to kind of get a run in, but also get a gig on a Wednesday.
And make it a special run club event. We don't do those as much now.
But that's how it started.
Yes.
That's very cool. That's awesome that you're doing two things you love. You know, you get to do the one thing and then do the other right after. That's awesome. Very cool. Yeah. So I usually ask him like, oh, where does the name come from? I think we can figure that out.
Nailed it.
Got it.
So do you guys have some stories for us? Some experiences you want to share from the road running? It doesn't have to be just from touring. It could be like you went on a run and you fought a bear or some.
Oh my God. I hope that story never happens. I am terrified of bears. No, we have some great stories, I think.
Yeah.
Like early on, I'll just start like kind of chronological just to make sense for me. But like early on, we were playing a little bit more folk music, and we got into some amazing festivals that we played in Europe. And I think two stick out to me, but the first one, oh gosh, three. But FIMU is this French festival that is massive. And like, you know, we were just starting out. We'd been a band a couple years. And we were playing like old time Appalachian music, which didn't seem that special like in North Carolina, but in France, they think it's very cool.
Right.
And so we're playing this festival that has like 100,000 people there. It's like 100 different bands from all over the world.
There's a bunch of stages all around town. So everybody's just out and about.
And the biggest crowd easily we've ever played for, so like thousands and thousands of people. But the coolest thing is like the mayor of this town thought what we were doing was so cool, which was like just folk Americana like music. And he's like invited us to, was it his house or what was that?
No, it was like a courtyard in the town center
for the next morning to play like for the mayor and his family and close like.
It was in Belfort, France.
Yeah.
So the festival is FIMU. It's like the Festival International University Music. Or music university, like translation.
But it was like the biggest crowd we've ever played for. And then you have like an amazing band from Burkina Faso. I think that was like this huge...
Yeah, a little background of that, like the festival was like organized in different sections. So there was like a jazz, you know, conglomerate of all the bands. There was like world music. So we were organized in the world music category because we were American folk music. So there was a bunch of different bands. A lot of francophone countries in Africa had bands that played in like the world music stages and stuff.
And it was just the coolest soundscape ever, just walking down like through that town, and you would just hear music from all over the world.
And we got connected because our fiddle player that we played with in Wilmington was married to she's married to a guy from France who is from that area.
Yeah.
And we applied, and she did the application in
French
so
and everything.
That was very helpful. That's probably we would not have gotten it if we didn't speak the language. She was like our translator.
It was also hilarious because she's very shy, and us you know, we don't play with her anymore, but at the time, like, we are definitely the singers, the ones that usually talk and keep the hype going. But in this festival, she had to say everything, and she was so nervous about it because we're like, you have to speak French and like do all the announcements. So she like wrote every word for word, everything she was gonna say out, and like she
was good.
She did great, but it was just so funny to be like, and you're gonna have to introduce everything.
And we just stand there and smile. I don't know what she's saying, but
So were you guys like talking and then she would, you know, translate, or she just did it all ahead of time?
She just kind of did
we just planned what kind of the spiel, if there was any spiel that we wanted to do, and then we would do, you know, just like explanatory stuff,
we did
that they enjoyed.
We did like an interview with a local radio station, and so we would talk and then she would translate
for that.
Okay,
that's very cool. So you guys have been overseas to tour and do a lot of runs then?
That was
the before times.
Okay.
Yeah.
2020.
And we initially just were chatting with our fiddle player Jessica Landis, and they go to France, to visit his family. And she was like, there's this festival we need to apply to.
But
so that was
the
the first
gateway.
time that we went to Europe. And then after that, we kind of figured out how to travel with our instruments. So we got confidence being with her and her family. And then be like, hey, we can do this. So then the next couple of years, we came back and went to the UK. Where the language
figured lack of language barrier would be better for us.
And just Hannah and I.
So, it gave us the confidence that we could do it. And so we would research, and I found a lot of really cool festivals, and just would email them out of nowhere and be like, hey, like, this is what we do. We're going to be, I'll just lie. I'll say, we're going to be in your area during that time. Can we come play? And they're like, oh my gosh, yeah, of course. Like so we got some really cool festivals just because we would reach out and be like, we're going to be there. Let's play. And the one really, really cool festival it's called Fire on the Mountain in Wales. And it literally, you're driving up and you're on this cliff, this mountain with fog. You could just hardly see anything. There's sheep everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And actually it's like this one lane road. And remember, this one van of hippies totally like bottomed out, and they got stuck on one of the turns. And it's the only road into this festival, and it was backed up for a while, and everybody's like, I don't know if I'm gonna get there in time,
because there was this janky van, like a converted like school bus that couldn't quite make the curve upwards.
It had already
bottomed out. So yeah, everybody behind the van was like just waiting until they could get they had to like get some kind of vehicle to be able to pull it out.
But like the windows had shattered in this van too, because again, the fog was heavy. There were trees, it's very narrow, and they clearly had hit some branches on the way, and like, they were having a really tough time. But the festival itself, once a local came and like towed them up.
Well, the roads in the UK are very like, they don't have like
big medians
on the side. It'll be like the road's here and it's not huge, and then like right next to the road will be like trees. And it's like there's no shoulders. We got big roads in the US that are comparatively
this was like a dirt road, and it wasn't
a dirt road.
The one up to the festival was dirt road. Maybe. Let's call it was a dirt road. And,
I believe you.
Thank you. But this festival, it was like by day it was like a folk festival, and at night, so we were in that vibe still, and so we would play like a couple of the day slots, and then at night it turned wild. There was this like a rave. I don't even know how to explain that music. Hinge cosmonaut.
Yeah, he was like
he's like, I'm an alien from the future. Or no, I mean,
they had awesome costumes and like real trippy stuff.
So trippy.
It was great.
Yeah.
A lot of lasers and everything.
Oh yeah, it's like so many members of this band, and half of them just were dancing in costume.
Yeah, and the dancers would change costumes too, so it'd be like this journey through space that they would.
And he's like, I'm here from the future to warn you about, destroying the world or whatever.
Yeah. So it was like it was their take on Gwar, basically.
Yes. It was great, man. Yeah, that's awesome. Henge, like Stonehenge.
Yeah,
Henge is his band name. They're great.
Okay.
Yeah, at this festival, the whole premise, Fire on the Mountain, they always make this huge chicken, like paper mache. It's gigantic. Like people walk it around, like a ton of people, and there's this huge parade. It's very pagan, and there'd be a drum. Everybody like gets together and has a coordinated dance, and there's drums, and they parade through the whole festival grounds. And at the end, don't they set it on fire?
Yeah,
they set it on fire.
Wow.
Yeah, was, and we're just over here like, I don't even know. I'm on some like hill with all these sheep, and it looks so peaceful, and this crazy thing is happening.
It's pretty punk rock.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I think that was a really cool moment.
Yeah.
Now, when you guys tour, have you guys ever done like a tour with other bands as well? Or you just mainly do it the way you're doing it?
We just hustle it, the two of us, and just have a fun adventure.
That's awesome. Less people to count on.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Easy I know his schedule, he knows my schedule.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. That's great. What's your favorite place you guys have ever played?
I mean, in the European stuff was amazing, all of that. But in the US, being in like Utah, and those performances are really cool. There's a couple of really cool spots in Denver that we play at with So Far Sounds.
Okay.
We do a lot of So Far shows, which is like pop-up concerts that all the big cities have, like teams that put on So Far shows. And that archipelago in Denver is really cool.
Oh yeah, it's like they call it a tree house, and it's I don't know what it's above, but it's like up some stairs, and you can't wear you can't wear shoes. It's very unique. It looks like it's probably like a hippie yoga studio or something, but like they do. It's a co-working space too, is what it is.
Yeah,
but they just have certain rules, and it's very zen.
Yeah, it's cool. And it's like you can look out the window, and the Mile High Stadium where the Broncos play is right there. And
that's
like,
awesome.
So a cool spot in the mountains, obviously.
And Trail Fest is obviously amazing.
Yeah.
And it's less so the performance spot, but more so the entire experience, because we go out there.
That's in Utah.
Yeah, that's it's in Kanab, Utah, is like the festival ground. It's really just a city park. But the event itself, like, it's a 3-day trail running festival. So you go to, the first day is Bryce Canyon, and you run, it's 16 miles through Bryce Canyon. It's gorgeous, it's tough, it's beautiful. And the second day is through Zion National Park, and then the third day is through the Horseshoe Bend at the Grand Canyon. So it's these like epic views. And then in Kanab, where you get bussed back, there's this great little park that everybody's like sleeping in tents there, and there's a little stage area, and we perform after the first race. We have time to recover, but we go perform for all the runners, and that's super fun as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, what's the energy of your show like after you just depleted it all?
Luckily, we perform after the day one. If we had to perform after like the third day, I don't know if I'd be standing up, because we perform, standing. I'm doing a lot of percussion, and I can't do it sitting down. Like, it wouldn't work. And that would be really, your legs are just trashed after day 3. But day 1, you're riding that high of adrenaline. You might have ran a lot, but you've like had some time to recover, and you push through. Now the audience, maybe not the hypest, they're exhausted. They're enjoying it. They sit there, and we know this last time was the first time people have actually danced, and we're like, oh my God, bless your hearts. Like, you don't have to stand up, but like,
they have like those folding chairs, a bunch of rows of folding chairs just for everybody.
People can lounge.
It's nice, because they'll do like the race overview for the next day, at the stage where we're performing at. So then everybody comes in after dinner, and they talk about the next day's race and all of the logistics of waking up, getting on the bus, and all those things.
Wake up's at 4:30,
And then
naturally.
Yeah.
So then we perform after that. So everybody's kind of just there from getting the lowdown for the next day's race, and then it's like, entertainment every night just before everybody goes to bed.
Yes, and they'll have like because it's in this like land that was some of the race on the third day is like through Navajo Nation. So like they do have like some people from the tribe come, and they'll sing songs, they'll tell stories, and they'll talk about the natural land structures like the Udus, and it's just a really cool experience overall. I think that's probably why we look forward to it every year. It's not, again, it's like not like the performance itself is like the hypest venue and the best crowd, only because everybody's exhausted, but it's definitely memorable. Just
it's the experience.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, that's awesome. What So is there like a memory or a run that you've done that you were like, okay, that was definitely the sketchiest thing I've ever done? You know, you're running on a cliffside or whatever, and you're inches away from the side. Or is there anything like that?
I think
Bryce Canyon is pretty
yeah,
cool.
the Bryce Canyon run the first day,
Yeah.
especially the first time we ever did it, I was so nervous. And it was just, now I'm used to it. So it's like, okay, this part's coming that's super narrow, that you're like, it's switchbacks and it's very narrow and it's like a little gravelly. So you're like, I could slip. I am an anxious person in general and very careful. So I can't run it. I have to like very slowly shuffle my way through this, where Jamie can go and I'm like, go ahead, I'll see you at the bottom. Like I'm not, so there definitely are some.
It's more of a
short
hike
cliffs.
anyway.
Yeah, it turns into a hike.
Yeah,
You know.
that's cool. So when you guys do those these runs and then you perform, do you like have that stipulation of, if we're gonna perform, it's got to be day one?
So this time it has just worked out that way. If they told us the only time they could have us was day 3, like we would suck it up and
We did
do
that
it.
the first year.
Did we really? Oh, I thought it was always day 1.
It was a different. It wasn't day
Oh,
one,
really?
yeah.
Well, this year they asked us, "Hey, which day do you want?" And we just like, "Okay, yeah.
Smart.
Yeah.
Smart.
Well, we also, the last 2 years, not this year, we did a whole trip where we did Trail Fest, and the week after was the Boulder Marathon, Boulderthon.
Okay.
So we did both of those and had a week in between. But this year in 2023, they became on the same weekend. So, but we still did both of them. But what we had to do was we played first day of Trail Fest and ran that, woke up, ran the second day of Trail Fest, then drove straight to Boulder, and like slept in our car, and then woke up, got to Boulder because we played the expo
The day
for
before.
their marathon, and
Okay.
then ran their, not the marathon, we just ran a 10K.
But that's because Trail Fest is
On-
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Mhm.
And so we skipped day 3 so that we could get to Boulderthon.
the expo on
Um,
Saturday and raced on Sunday.
Exactly.
So that was a little modified because we were like, oh no, they're on the same weekend. But it's like, okay, we got to do it. We just got to get from Kanab, which is southwest Utah, all the way to Boulder, over the Rocky Mountains, and then be there the next day. It's like, yeah, we can do it.
So again, like we're not touring with a full band and doing the whole traditional like tour thing. We're just living life and playing shows that we want to play and going to places we want to go. And because of that, like we have a Honda Odyssey 2006, almost 300,000 miles on it. And
Wow.
yes, we've taken all the seats out. This was 2020, maybe 2021. We had like an epiphany of like
2020.
Oh, well, 2020, we realized like
Yeah.
we can't just ask friends of friends to stay at their houses anymore as we drive across the country. That's what we used to do. And it's, it's asking a lot to say, I'm going to go perform for a bunch of strangers. Can I sleep on your couch and bring my germs with me? Everybody's super aware of that. So we're like, we need a solution, because 2021, we really wanted to play Trail Fest for the first time and go all the way out west for the second time. And we're like, how can we do this? We looked up all the whole van life and we're like, I don't have that kind of money. Like that's expensive to do. And we're like, we're short. We've got a minivan. Let's take all the seats out and build a platform bed in the back where all our gear can go underneath. And so we've been doing that now for 2 years, almost 3 years. We've done 6 drives across the country in this 2006 Honda Odyssey, and we sleep in there at rest stops.
Yeah.
And it just makes it work. It'd be great to make it where we could stay in a hotel or something, but it's just more cost effective, and we've learned how to make it work. So
it's honestly nice sometimes when you're driving and you like like we get out to Denver in like a day and 2 days, and we don't have to plan where we're going.
Yeah.
We just stop when we are tired,
Yeah.
sleep at a rest stop, and then keep going, so you don't have to coordinate a lot of stuff.
Yeah, see, you guys, you were saying you don't do it with like a full band and everything, but you're still doing the grind the same way we all have with the full bands. Like we would do the same thing essentially with a 15-passenger van. I built every van we ever had when we would tour. Like we would build a loft in the back and then put all the gear under it, right?
Yeah.
Like you guys are doing the exact same thing. Nick Berger and I, like, we spent 60 days in a van together. There were 9 of us in a 15-passenger van, 2 bands, 1 van pulling a trailer. You guys, you've done. He stood in my wedding. That 60 days was it brought us very close together.
Yes.
Yeah.
A little closer than most people would expect. But
9, holy cow, 9 people. So
Yeah.
2 different bands.
Yes, 2 different bands. Yeah, so I'm located in Buffalo, and Nick's from Syracuse, which is like 2.5 hours from here. So when we met him and his band at the time, we kind of hit it off. We started playing shows a bunch together, and then we booked a full US. So that was the 60-day tour. Spent the whole time with all these dudes, became best friends with everybody, and now lifelong friends.
Wow.
But yeah, it's you guys are doing the same grind that everybody else is. It's just the 2 of you, and you're right, it's way more cost effective.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I could tell everybody. I tell people all the time, I'm like, what state are you going to? Oh, they have a nice Walmart parking lot there.
Yeah.
Because I probably slept in it.
Oh yes, we know where all the good rest areas are.
And that's so interesting because so when did y'all do that? What years?
This is 10 years this year. It actually was 10 years like a week ago. Nick texted me, he was like, it's 10 years to the day. So yeah, 2013.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's where we're trying, like Walmart doesn't let you do it anymore.
Well, some of
Like,
them might,
they'll-
but we were in California. That was the first time we tried to stay at a Walmart.
Mhm.
And they could tell when you've got your like the window coverings and you've got little vents in the windows, and they came up immediately, right, with like 10 minutes before the Walmart was going to close or whatever, and they knocked on it and like, you got to move. And we're like, no, like.
But it's like if some parking lots now have these like trailer looking things that have a big pole that has like a blue flashing light, like a police.
The cameras.
Light. And I think that's what those are.
We parked right by it. We didn't know what it was.
So now I realized, like, obviously, if you go to one of those lots and they have one, they're going to see you.
You see, it used to be that you couldn't stay, they wouldn't allow you to stay overnight unless it was a 24-hour, which made total sense because there's people in and out all the time. They don't have to worry about anything. But if you think about it, now with all the people that go into all these stores, like there's Targets across the country that are just getting shut down because people are going in, stealing shit and leaving, and they're not doing anything about it because they've changed the laws in certain states and cities saying unless it's this or that, you are not to approach this person, just let them go and then deal with the insurance afterwards. Wow. So I have a feeling that plays a major role in that, because if you're sitting in the parking lot, they don't know that you're not just getting ready to make a big, a heist. Big game or whatever, or heist. Yeah. They don't know you. So they're just expecting you to be the guy that's going to come in and do something fucked up.
Yeah.
I think the hours after COVID, because of COVID and then afterwards, a lot of places that were 24 hours are not 24 hours anymore. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of hard to find Walmart that's 24 hours now.
Yeah.
But I think one of our favorite places to sleep, we look forward to it, and I can hardly believe I'm saying this, but Cracker Barrel. Like growing up, like I didn't want to go to Cracker Barrel. That's not cool. Now we like love the days that we can find a Cracker Barrel on the route, because they encourage you to sleep there. There's always RVs and everything, but we like wake up and then we're like, we're gonna go have breakfast.
Exactly.
That's why they do it, because they know you're gonna go eat.
Yeah,
exactly. They're like, yeah, you could stay. You're just parking till you wake up and come eat. Exactly. Yeah.
And after days in the car where you're just like snacking on crackers and you're like, I guess that's my meal today. Then you're like, man, that Cracker Barrel breakfast tastes good.
Yeah.
Even though, maybe compared to your normal like a brunch out or something, it's not there, but we love it.
That's
And I
great.
think we've seen too that Love's now, like out west, they're doing like campsites that have hookups, like
that are at
and
Love's gas stations.
yeah. So we don't need that, but like RVs, you pay like what, $40 or something.
It's like a campsite, yeah.
So, but it's just in a parking lot, so it's not like a beautiful area or anything, but it's interesting.
But
So
we don't need power, so
Yeah.
we just park in a spot.
yeah,
But yeah, it's
it's interesting.
it is interesting.
I have an app that has a rating of all the actual rest stops too. So if we go to just sleeping at one of the rest areas, I can like look it up and see if it's been rated, highly, or if it's like this one's trash, don't stop here.
Yeah. Have you guys ever done the couch surfing or anything like that?
We looked into it, but we never did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we never quite got
We
there.
did it a couple times when we would tour back in the day, and it was nice to have like a roof over your head, but the people, again, they don't know you, so they can't like trust you fully.
Yeah.
And then you just feel uncomfortable because you're like, am I being watched? I'm being
Yes.
watched. I'm definitely being watched. There's no way I'm not being watched. Like, so you're like, oh, we really appreciate this. And then they're like, don't wash your hands when you're done in the, like, something weird, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
cool,
Well, that's
thanks.
That's where honestly the freedom, like it used to be nice to go, stay the friend to friend or maybe family members and all this, but then there's also that like, I don't know if you trust me, I don't really know you. Let's have some awkward small talk, even though I just got in super late and you're gonna stay up late, and it's just all the formalities, and it's great, to meet people and connect that way. But sometimes when you're just driving, you want to just get as far as you can. After a show, you decompress. You don't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah, like you don't want to have to host or be hosted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Put that on. So it is kind of relieving to be like, I'm just going to drive as far as I can. When I wake up, I'm literally already in the car. I'm ready to go. And you just move on. And so there is like that little silver lining of like, yeah, I'm sleeping in my car, but it actually is, sometimes there's benefits.
Yeah. It would be nice if we could stand up in the vehicle, but
that would be good.
That's another day.
That's the next van.
Yeah, exactly. So another tour story I just remembered. So we got married in 2019, and that was like right after we quit our jobs. We're going to do music full time. We got married, and then we planned this honeymoon tour, if you will. So it's like, where do you want to go? Let's go and let's book some shows, So we went back to the UK and played some house concerts, some so-far shows, and we played the Stonehenge Solstice Festival. This was the summer solstice.
Okay.
At Stonehenge. And I had just found it online. It was like a fairly small festival. But I was like, that's really freaking cool.
Yeah.
And so I reached out, and they were like, again, it was mostly, it was all locals playing. So they were like, what? Yeah, of course you can come play, just because you're from where, like, there's something about that to be attractive to a festival. And I was like, but everybody was staying in tents, and I was like, by the way, like, we're flying, so we're not going to have a tent with us. Can we borrow a tent from you guys? And they're like, and like, if you have a sleeping bag or anything like that, can we borrow that stuff? And they were like, oh yes, of course, like, we got you. And when we show up, they had set up a yurt with a air mattress. They had champagne.
Well, they found out
because it was our honeymoon, like, and they had set that up, and it was just like unbelievable. So we're
That's
at this
amazing.
festival, at Stonehenge, playing and staying in a yurt, and I thought that was super cool.
Yeah,
that's very cool.
Yeah,
that's not Southern hospitality. That's foreign hospitality.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's very cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Is there like a most memorable show or experience that you guys have had on the road, or even just a most memorable run experience?
All those that we mentioned.
Yeah, all the ones that we mentioned are definitely top of mind for the memory. What else you got?
We played a really cool show, another So Far show in San Francisco, that they do like random locations. Have you heard of So Far Sound?
I have not. What is that?
So it stands for Songs from a Room, but it started in the UK, and they do pop-up concerts.
They're secrets. It's like a grab bag. You sign up and buy tickets as an audience member. You don't know who's going to perform. You don't know where it's going to be. You just know the general location. And then 36 hours before, they tell you where to show up. And then you never find out who's playing until you get there. So it's 3 bands that each play 20 minutes, and they're usually really different genres. So it's like, you show up, you might not like everything, but you're going to like something. And it's silent. Everybody's sitting and listening, and it's intimate.
That's what's the most fun. So it's more stripped back. There are some full bands, but they do stripped back versions. And sometimes they're like, it's like 2 songwriters, or a hip hop artist and a songwriter, and us. So like, we're the biggest, but we also are like very, very compact and don't have like, our drums are electronic. So it's contained. So it depends on the venue.
Bands for sure.
Yeah, it depends on the venue. And this one in San Francisco that we played was like at the top balcony of this like swanky apartment. So the load-ins sucked, but it was so cool because it was like this patio that you could see all of San Francisco, and
it was sunset. The thing about So Far is they're unconventional spaces. So it might be an after hours barbershop. It might be an art gallery. It might be, the archipelago, like co-working space that felt like a yoga studio.
Tonight we're performing in a yoga studio, apparently. And
the vibes will be good though, right?
Exactly. And the crowd like sit on the floor, and they're silent while you play, and it's like, they're really listening. It's really magical. And I think that's why we love it so much, and we play so many of them. I mean, they're all over the country and all over the world, which helps. But I think it's just the experience itself is so magical because they're actually listening to everything that you're doing and saying. And
you can tell stories.
Yeah, they care about like the background of the song, and they're just little 20-minute sets, 25-minute sets for each artist. So they just get a little snippet of
you play all your
what
bangers.
you do. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, that has it sounds like it has a lot of that same vibe of like there's a lot of emo bands from the 90s that I still listen to, that they're doing living room tours. They're reaching out, they post and they say, these are the dates I'm looking for. If you have a living room, let me know. And then when everybody gets in the room, it's like very intimate, very focused. Everybody's there for exactly what's happening. No one's there just because there's nothing else going on, And
that's smart for them, because it's like you cut out all, there's all these issues with like venues taking so much cut of like your merch and all these stupid things, and like the middlemen. And for those bands, like if they, if their deals have changed throughout the years and they are independent now, it's like they can go out and make some good money. And those people are going to be buying merch when they're like playing for them in the living room. They put out like a limited edition tour shirt. It's like it's smart economically. Like you would think that bands would want to play to big rooms, but it's like at the end of the day, when you look at that sheet, all the people that take a cut, and then it's like you're performing to a bunch of people. But if you get a living room with 50 people and every single person buys a shirt, it's like it's so connected to it.
And the poor thing, I think we've reflected a lot because we have been playing for 10 years, we're in our 30s, like you reevaluate and think what's important to you, what is success for you. And like when you start, of course you think, oh my God, I want to play the big stages and tour and do that, what everybody envisions as a musician, I want to be Harry Styles, but that's just not realistic for anyone except those few people. And then when you try to make a living for yourself and find what brings you joy and happiness and what your strengths are, then you can realize, I think we realize, is playing in a living room is so much more connecting to the people that are there. It's, enjoyable. With the living room tours, you definitely can make a living doing that if you have that connection, not so much So Far, but, you still, that positive connection that you get is what fuels you and feeds you for maybe when you have gigs that are less enjoyable. Like there's that balance in the world. So it is interesting. We've definitely been on a journey to kind of figure out how to maintain this as a full-time job and reevaluating like what we perform, what kind of events we perform. And yeah, that's been a big part of it, especially the last couple of years. So
That's cool. And with that being said too, you're with those intimate settings, you're making an impact on that person without them realizing it, to where like if they see your name next time, they're, oh, I love that band. I met those guys. They were so nice, so cool. They have a cool story, you know. They're gonna be at the next one.
I mean, in the living room, you talk to them for an hour afterwards. You make real connections, and it's cool.
And then you can sleep on their couch or their.
Exactly. Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
That's funny. That is funny. All right. Let's see. You guys got anything else you want to share?
I think one more quick. I think being connected with Brooks running has been really, really fun, and like we've gone out and played events for their ambassadors. So the most recently it was in LA. It was in Venice Beach?
Santa Monica.
And that we got to go to all the ambassadors. There's probably over 200 of us in the US and Canada, all went to this hotel and had all these running events, and we got to perform for all the runners with Brooks. And that was super fun because this is the hypest crew you could find. They're all like social media influencers. So, you know, they're all in crazy costumes and dancing and singing along. And it was just so much fun. And it's really we're really lucky to be connected with Brooks to be able to do those kind of events. And they bring in runners and speakers and people that are really influential in the running world. And we get to connect with them in that way, but also share our music, which is super fun. That's like the pinnacle of like our two worlds colliding in a really cool way. So
we had
the official unofficial music of Brooks running shoes.
There
you go.
Exactly.
And we got connected with them in 2020, and so it was nice to like have something to look forward to, like virtual stuff that we did with them in 2020 was fun. And we had performed
channel, and that was really encouraging when we were feeling really depressed, being unemployed. And then you had this Slack channel with hundreds of runners like that are so positive. The whole like catchphrase for Brooks is run happy. And so it was like whenever you're feeling down, like someone in the Slack channel was like boosting you back up.
Well, we had performed for like the different events virtually, and we did a lot of live streaming just by ourselves and things. So it's finally nice to get out. Like last year they did it in Park City, Utah, so it was fun to like finally be able to meet everybody in person. That, you know, it's like funny that IRL, like in real life versus internet friendships that you have, like that's finally meeting Nick in person and stuff like that. It's like it's a funny world that we live in now, when like you connect with people and you may never actually meet them. And it was super cool.
But when you do, you're like, wait, I feel like I know you. I follow you on.
Yeah, everybody's like, yeah, I know what you do, but we've never actually met. But like, just kind of keep it going, like we're friends, right? We don't need to. Like...
That's cool.
It's
very
funny,
cool.
Funny thing.
What's the longest you guys have run? You know, in one race.
Jamie's gone farther than me because Jamie does this insane 50K, that's 32 miles, but he does a Spartan race that is obstacles. It's like 70 obstacles and 32 miles.
Wow.
Got me beat on that one. I've just done a marathon. That's the longest I've gone, 26.2, but
you don't faster than me for that.
Yeah, because you're climbing over shit.
Yeah, so that's similar to like the Tough Mudder, right?
Yep.
I did a Tough Mudder like probably 12, 15 years ago when I was much younger. But so when you guys do all these other runs, do they give you a beer at the end of the race? Kind of like the Tough Mudder or Spartan races?
The different, a lot of times they'll all have
like finish lines have beers.
They got it.
Good for you.
I don't think Spartan does. Do they?
They give like different drinks that are sponsored, whatever they, the life
energy drinks and stuff.
Okay, yeah.
Like the Fit Aid or whatever. Yeah.
But lots of bananas, lots of free bananas.
Need that potassium.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you coming on. This was a lot of fun. If you guys ever want to be on again, got anything to promote, anything going on like that, just reach out. We'll get you back on. If you got anything you want to promote, now's the time.
Yeah, we've been putting out a lot of new music on Spotify. So I'd say definitely check out the original music on Spotify. We're called Relay Relay. We put out
five
originals this year. 6 songs. 5 songs? We're working on it. That's our 2023 goal, was to put out a lot of music. So we're constantly like either promoting one or finishing one up, recording. So, and on social media we do a lot of fun covers and stuff, and then promote our music on there. So we keep active on that too. Yeah. At Relay Music. That's it.
Perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for sticking around. Everything they've got going on, all their social media, everything will be down below in the description. We'll see you next time. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye, bitch.